welcome here to TalkFCB, and welcome to what is once again a very special day to be a Barcelona fan. Because today we saw, after all these years, Dani Alves return to Barca training, and we are going to be talking about some special moments as Xavi and the team are back, and along too with some important first team players who return to full training today. It is all coming up. Let's get to it. Because indeed, on Monday morning, Dani Alves was up bright and early to seal his return to Barca. Of course, we know that he cannot play until January, but Xavi and Dani Alves too were very intent on getting him into those training sessions as soon as possible. And as you can see here, Dani Alves went through the standard procedure there for new signings. You go through your medical examination. He passed that with absolutely no problems whatsoever. And that's not really a surprise to me. Dani Alves kept himself in tip-top condition right throughout his career, and it's no different here today. And upon returning there to the club, Dani Alves spoke to Barca TV today. He said it's clear that we are in a process right now. He said we can all understand that, but what he did say is that we must accelerate that process, because he said at Barca there's no room to make mistakes. He knows full well what is expected at this club. He said there are two shirts that I feel that when I put them on, I feel like a superhero. He said those are Brazil and Barca. And when journalists on his way out there from that medical asked him, what do you say to those who are critical of your age? He said, I'm forever young. And of course, as we move on to that training session that took place later on in the evening in Barcelona, starting there at 6 p.m. local time, I was wondering whether we were going to see the Spanish internationals in that session, because it was going to be a pretty quick turnaround. Of course, Busquets, Alba and Gavi were all involved last night as Spain secured their World Cup place with a win over Sweden. And in that game, just how good was young Gavi? Absolutely sensational there on the world stage, trying to take his country to a World Cup, and he was absolutely magnificent in that game. The whole stadium chanting his name. He was that good, and this boy is so special. Busquets said, when asked there about Xavi's return as a coach, he said, as a player, Xavi has been one of the best, if not the best, in the history of Spain. He said, and I've been lucky enough to know him as a person too, and he said, as a person, he is even greater than that. He said, we've enjoyed a lot, and we've had a special feeling between myself, Iniesta, Xavi. He said, as a coach, I wish him all the best. I know how he sees the game, and with the coaches that he's had over the course of his career, I am sure that he has learned a lot. Jordi Alba too had some glowing words for Xavi Hernandez. He said, we know we're going through a difficult time, but he said, I trust that Xavi will help us a lot, especially when it comes to helping and improving each player. He said he knows the club, he knows the players, and we will respond. He said, I'm eager to work under his command. So Jordi Alba and Busquets, they're very excited. And I think that excitement shows because, yes, Busquets, Gavi, and indeed Jordi Alba, straight back into training today. Probably there, they could have taken an extra day if they wanted to, but such is that eagerness, that willingness to want to come in and work under your new coach. That is exactly what we want to see. But one of the big pieces of news from today's training session was not the session itself, but the timing of the players who arrived before that session took place, because as we know, you've got to be there 1.5 hours before the session even starts. And who was the very first player to arrive today? It was Ousmane Dembélé. And honestly, I feel like a proud dad right now. I am very pleased with him, because that's what we want. We all know that he was the first to be fined for being late. He was only 3 minutes late, but look now, first to arrive. And that is what these rules are all about. We know that players can make mistakes, whether it's on the field, whether it's off the field. Mistakes can happen. They are human beings at the end of the day. But what we do ask from them is that they learn. They use these rules, they use these guidelines here, and they strive to achieve the very best of themselves. And that is why these are so important. Great to see Dembélé there, taking it upon himself to be the very first man there. And as you can see, in the dressing room before they even went out onto the field, there was plenty of reunion millions. And these photos for me, just like with Xavi when he came back, they feel surreal. To look at that photo there with Dani Alves alongside Jordi Alba. Years ago, we watched these two dominate games. On both flanks there, they terrorised opposition after opposition. And to see them back again laughing, the feeling I'm sure inside the dressing room right now is absolutely off the scale. Dani Alves with Busquets, Dani Alves with Samuel Umtiti. And it is just so nice to see a group that I think are together more than ever. We need to be really united right now, and bringing somebody back here who can inject that energy, as we've discussed, it is so important. And I think when you look there, out on the field in terms of the session itself, you can see exactly why Xavi wants Alves there, why he wants to bring him in, and why he was so desperate to get him training now. Even though he can't play, he can still be an influence. He can still inject life into those training sessions, because let's not forget, bringing enthusiasm into what you do, bringing real enjoyment from those sessions, that's important too, because yes, we want these training sessions to be tough, we want them to be demanding, we want the players to really push themselves in that training, but at the same time, it doesn't mean you can't enjoy it. You can't savour it. You want to wake up every single day thinking, okay, I'm going to go in and I can't wait for that session. I can't wait to work today again. Under Xavi, that is the kind of feeling that you need your players to be feeling every single day. And it was amazing, absolutely amazing to see Alves back where he belongs at this club. And the good news does not stop there either. I know, this is Barca. We're getting so much good news. It's just relentless right now. You can't stop it. It's coming from all angles. Good news, because along with Alves in that training session, Gerard Piqué is back, Eric Garcia is back, Roberto, Pedri is back in training, Nico Gonzalez back in the full session. All of those players who previously had been suffering with knocks, with little injuries, they are back with the group today, and that is vital. Ahead of that game on Saturday against Espanyol, Xavi's first game as the new Barca coach, what's really important is that he has as many options as possible heading into that game. We want to get players here training, we want them understanding, and every single session between now and that game on Saturday, it's a big learning experience. They are so important to really getting everyone up to speed and getting them up to speed quickly. And I should mention as well that in that first team session today, Barca youth players Ferran Jutla, Abde, of course, who we saw under Sergi Barjuan in the first team, and also, crucially, young centre-back Mika Marmol were all training with the rest of the group in the first team with Xavi today. And like we discussed over on MORETALKFCB earlier about Mika Marmol, it is becoming clear that Xavi sees him as a very real option for the first team. He is very talented, and someone to keep an eye on, and we will indeed have. On the Dani Alves front, plenty more still to look forward to, because it has been officially announced that on Wednesday at 2 p.m. local time, he's going to be presented as a new Barca player returning to this club. And once again, that event is open to the fans, and I am absolutely sure that on Wednesday, it's going to be a party. You can imagine there, Joan Laporta alongside Dani Alves. There was a real party feel at Xavi's presentation. Just imagine what it's going to be like with Dani Alves, the kind of character that he is. So, of course, come Wednesday, we are going to have all of that presentation coming up right here. But for now, guys, I really did just want to bring you today Dani Alves' return to a training session, to be back at Barca, back in that dressing room, surrounded by his former teammates. There's such a good feeling, and that is important for any winning team. You've got to be together, you've got to be motivated, you've got to be enthusiastic about what you do, and Barca, under Xavi, are heading in the right direction. Please do let me know all of your thoughts in the comments down below. What did you feel there when seeing Dani Alves back at this club and back in the training session? Let me know that down below. I will, of course, see you soon with plenty more to come. Thank you for your support. But until next time, as always, Visca El Barça.